Hi, Sean Huckster here, and welcome to Magical Little Worlds with me. It's another exciting one. I mean, oh, wow. It is like a banner day. Why? Well, recently, we've gotten Clueless, and I've reviewed that. We've gotten DDCS, which is, something that I wasn't familiar with, but boy, they made a beautiful set. We've had Minions, Monster High, Addams Family, to this day, my favorite, Wicked, Elf, Gabby's Dollhouse, and many other like collabs. Collabs are where they collaborate with other brands to make beautiful toys. But tonight we're going to talk about SpongeBob Squarepants. That's right. This is a cartoon that has been absolutely wonderful, and I've been following it since way back. I kind of lost track of it, but I was a big fan back in the day. So today we are introducing Polly Pocket SpongeBob Squarepants. This arrived from Target just today. It is also now available on Amazon if you're watching currently. First of all, it's a bit larger than I expected. This is about the size of a slice of bread. This is pretty large compared to other sets. So what do we have? We have SpongeBob Squarepants in his absolutely iconic look with that big grin with the big eyes. You've got, as characters, you've got SpongeBob with his glasses, which is kind of fun because you can pop them on or take them off. You've got Patrick, and you've got Gary the snail pet. And then you've got this massive SpongeBob face. And then below, well, they kind of hide most of this from you, but this is the interior. And you can see it here. Let's look at the back of the package, shall we? What do we have? Well, we have SpongeBob and his face. That's SpongeBob, obviously. Oh, the big heart. And then you've got the interior. Look, we've got Squidward's house. We've got SpongeBob's house. We've got SpongeBob himself with his glasses on here. Then down below, you got the interior of SpongeBob's house. You got Patrick's place. And then we have Bikini Bottom and the areas thereof. Nickelodeon, of course, is the owners of SpongeBob Squarepants. We have a little Polly Pocket here. Although, she doesn't actually feature in this set, but this is a Polly Pocket set, so she gets at least to have a cameo. All right, man, I'm excited. Let's get to opening, shall we? And literally, I almost don't want to open it. It's so pristine and beautiful. But you know what? I've got another one coming, and I don't have to open that one, so I'm just going to rip this open, and we'll get right to it. Let's do it. This tells you how to put the set together, and in many sets, you just got to kind of snap the bottom to the top, and we will get there. But otherwise, packaging. Right. And now, let's open up the bottom, which I'm going to show you briefly, but we'll get to that a little later. We'll just pop it over here and just pretend it doesn't exist. Now, we pull out the clamshell packaging. Now, we're going to pull out the top. We're not going to look inside the top. What's going on here? Why is it stuck? Oh, why is it stuck? Oh, in an unusual twist, it's got one of these little things kind of sticking it to the case. Let me just cut that. Well, that's the first time I've encountered that extra little measure of security. But there's SpongeBob, and we'll place him right here while we look at the other stuff. So we end up with the characters. We have, oh look, we have Glasses, Mr. Glasses. I'm just kidding. And then we have SpongeBob himself. Glasses fit over SpongeBob, of course. We have his best friend, Patrick. And we have Gary. We have a little treasure chest. Looks like a little jellyfish. Another jellyfish. We have a conch shell, which we've seen in other sets, and I may show you that. And a net. And I believe that's everything. So let's pop these out, shall we? Packaging. All right, let's retrieve the things that went flying. So what does the set give us? We have, of course, SpongeBob Squarepants. And he, using the standard old Polly Pocket hinged waist, can hinge at the waist. His arms, unfortunately, do not swing down. I'm a little disappointed that his arms are not articulated, but they're kind of molded to his side. or glued to his side, I think. But look at him. He's wonderful. That is SpongeBob Squarepants if I ever met him. Looking like a piece of Swiss cheese. A little bit of black paint there from an error probably. But look at him. That's SpongeBob. Now, the glasses fit over SpongeBob if you want to do that. There are times when we see SpongeBob wearing glasses. I probably wouldn't keep them on there, but you have the option, right? So that's SpongeBob. Now we have his best buddy, Patrick, who also has swinging legs. Although for what purpose, I'm not entirely sure since they're so stubby. And that's Patrick. Beautifully rendered Patrick, by the way. I mean, that really is Patrick. If you've ever seen the show, that is Patrick. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done. We'll put Patrick next to his buddy, SpongeBob. We also have a little net. We also have Gary, who is like a pet snail. This is fun. Look at Gary. He's so cute. I'm going to talk about some things they left out of this set in a minute, but for now, I mean, Gary's amazing. I love it. Now, what else do we have? Well, we have a treasure chest, which it swings closed, but I never like hinges that are just plastic because over like 100 openings and closing, that's going to just snap right off. And yet it's so small. If you watch my channel, I always drop something on the floor. That's just part of the gig. I don't do it on purpose. It just happens because I'm a Butterfingers. But so this is really tiny, as you can tell by my massive elephantine fingers here. So like I said, if they could hinge this, great, but they can't. Look how tiny it is. It is really tiny. But again, that's going to stress over time. So just kind of like leave it open or close it, but play with it, but don't open it or close it too much because it's never going to end well. Now, what else do we have? Well, we have a very clear, transparent jellyfish. And then we have another clear, transparent jellyfish. These are not different. They are exactly the same. And then we also have this net. The net has one of these little handholds, which if you know Polly Pocket or even other small characters, this is designed to fit into a hand. And so while SpongeBob's hands don't swing down, unfortunately, this net can snap to his hand, like so. And he can run around chasing jellyfish. And the really cool thing is, the jellyfish fits inside. Like, it doesn't snap in, but it fits right in there, which is really cute. What else? Well, the last thing we have is this conch shell. Now, you notice there's a peg in the back. This is the only, as far as I can tell, reused part of this set, because this conch shell was also available in another set. And that set was also the 2025 Glitter Island set, which in the 2025 series of sets has been my favorite of all time because it is underwater themed. I love it, I love it, I love it. And this conch shell goes in here, and for now, let's put it over here where you can basically see it. But that's not why I'm here tonight. We're here for SpongeBob Squarepants. And SpongeBob Squarepants has really stood the test of time. It's a Nickelodeon product, and there have been so many cartoons from the late 1990s up through the 2000s that have really stuck with me. SpongeBob being one of them. The storylines, the characters. Hands up who doesn't love SpongeBob. You're wrong. Okay, let's get to the compact itself. The bottom, well, first of all, let's snap it together so we can actually talk about it as if it's a compact. And this has the standard modern Polly Pocket hinge set where you just take one pin, slip it into here, and then you snap in the other. And once that's done, that's a full compact. And it's never going to go anywhere. It's fine. You can pull that apart, sure, but it's not likely to fall apart by accident, let's say. Now, let us talk about the set itself. So first, down below, in Bikini Bottom, we have this purple kind of slide. We have stairs going up. We've got some like starfish here. I should say sea stars. Starfish is a misnomer these days. Then you have this little roadway, but it's all made of water, of course. You have a little peg here for a character to stand, and that goes under a bit of a tunnel, and then a ramp going up, which is great. And then what we have here is, this is a little rotary area where it's like a little bit of a ride. Many Polly Pocket sets have rotary rides. This one is like a flower, an undersea flower, and it has a peg for a character. Pegs here for two more characters. or 3 actually. And you would think that maybe the jellyfish can fit on here because their pegs are side. So you take maybe the jellyfish, which have a little side peg here somewhere, and you can place a little jellyfish right in here. And then you have another spot for another jellyfish and a spot for maybe a conch shell or another jellyfish. You can mix and match. And believe it or not, Patrick has a hole in his back as well, so he can actually fit up there as well. So Patrick can actually stand up there. And then this whole thing rotates around. Now what we have here is Patrick's house, which opens up. So I think Patrick's house might be made of like maybe a coconut shell. I'm not sure. And there's a little arrow wind vane, I guess water vane really, up here. A little area around, and it pops open. There's a little water leading up to it. And then inside you see Patrick's house. And then you have a little pizza box here. Not quite sure what that is right there. A little stand and a couch. And Patrick can sit on his couch if you like. But the other interesting thing is there's a pin here for Patrick to stand. So Patrick can be in his house, and you can close this. And then you have green kind of like grass below, although it's under the sea, obviously. You know, because who lives on a pineapple under the sea? Well, you know, it's SpongeBob Squarepants, right? And then you have these stairs or little boards, a little boardwalk leading upward to Squidward's house. Now, wait a second. I didn't see a Squidward character. That's because there isn't one. And I'm kind of regretting the fact that I have to show you this. Inside Squidward's house is a sticker or a back for Squidward. Now, the one thing I object to all modern Polly Pocket sets is when they use major characters as stickers instead of providing the character. They really should have provided this character. But here he is in his like tiki statue house. Very accurately portrayed. I love it. I don't know, does this, yeah, so this is actually open. So this goes right on up, you notice? Woohoo, hey. So you can drop a character down there and it would end up inside Squidward's house. I really just wish they'd included Squidward. But what's the feature here? What's the main feature? Well, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? It's SpongeBob. SpongeBob Squarepants. And here he is. Here's his house. Swings down. You got a television here. You got a little, now this is kind of fun because you've got these little bamboo areas here, but this folds up into a couch. And it folds up straight like in a 90-degree angle, but you can also fold it back a bit. You know, no problem to folding it back on an angle. Like so. But it wants to stand up straight. But this is a couch. Then you got floor deco. Again, not quite sure what that is. Not quite sure what that is. This is actually another version of the net that he has. And other stuff. Then up here, we have SpongeBob's bed. Then we have some more jellyfish on this like rattan or bamboo wall. And a little life preserver here, basically under the sea accoutrement. And then you got this little thing here, which I'm not quite sure what they want to do with this, because this just kind of opens up. It's a ladder to upstairs, but it's also just kind of like a flat area. It doesn't seem to have a purpose. It doesn't fold down any more than that. I mean, there's his bed, that's his pillow, so it's not like a headboard. However, it can be used as a stairway up to his bathtub. And then his bathroom, which has little things on the wall, and another life preserver and a door out. And of course, the top of the pineapple, what would it be without having pineapple foliage? And that is the basic set. That is SpongeBob Squarepants. Quite nice, lots of function, lots of play. What about the size? Oh dear. Warning, if you're going to close this, make sure you fold the couch back down first, because otherwise this will pop right off. But then you can fold this up and you have Bikini Bottom in all of its glory, and I love it. So what's missing? Well, clearly Squidward is missing. We have Squidward represented by a sticker, which you know, if you watch my channel, I absolutely hate. I hate when they represent a character by a sticker. As you can see, when I open up Wicked and I find that, look, inside this green door, well, look, there's Madame Marble, but is she a character? No, she's a sticker. And oh, look, up here, here's Fierro. Is he a character? No, he's a sticker. Well, I mean, cardboard backing, same thing. So I always find that to be a cop-out. I want the character and not a sticker representing the character. And so what's missing? Well, we are absolutely missing Squidward. What I do love is, though, we have Gary. I absolutely love we have Gary. And Gary has a little foot down there, so you can place him anywhere in the set that you want. Like maybe here. That's a great place for Gary. What else is missing? Well, who's SpongeBob's best friend next to Patrick? Sandy Squirrel. Where's Sandy? Why don't we have Sandy? Why the heck did they not include Sandy Squirrel? Now, if you are unhappy about important characters being missed, you are going to be very unhappy when you hear about the Scooby-Doo set that they leaked pictures of. The Scooby-Doo set comes in a compact that looks like the Mystery Machine from the front, and it opens up, and there's a really cool environments from the show with like other characters upstairs. But what's missing? What's with the set? First of all, you get Velma and you get Scooby. That's it. Don't get me wrong, Velma's my favorite character. Scooby also is vital, of course, because it's a Scooby-Doo set. But Fred, Daphne, Shaggy are only represented by stickers, by representation by image only in the set. And that's almost a crime against toys. What are you thinking, Mattel? Okay, where is Sandy Squirrel? You know what? By some coincidence that I will say is absolutely not a coincidence, because I've been a toy collector my entire adult life, I happen to have Sandy Squirrel. In 2003, Viacom put out a Sandy Squirrel figure that is absolutely wonderful. She's very small. She's PVC, kind of rubbery plastic, but here she is. Sandy Squirrel in all her glory, with helmet, which is absolutely wonderful because she is like a space character, but she, of course, can't survive under the ocean in Bikini Bottom. But if she wears a space helmet and an oxygen tank, well, that's her tail. She can totally survive down there and becomes, one of SpongeBob's best friends. And so Sandy Squirrel is about 1.5 inches tall. And here's the great thing. Sandy is really nicely scaled to SpongeBob and Patrick. And Sandy, being a squirrel, would be a little larger than them. And I think Sandy belongs next to SpongeBob. So she will forever be a part of this set. One other thing I wanted to mention is we talked about the spinny ride, which of course many Polly Pocket sets have, but I was wondering why a flower at the bottom of the ocean? And that's when I realized, after I introduced Sandy to the set, I had to look at her, because it's been a while, and Sandy has a helmet, but what's on her helmet? A pink flower. And this was their way of paying homage to Sandy without adding Sandy, which I kind of like, but they still should have added Sandy. To close the set, you want to put Patrick in his little space here, and that can close Patrick's space. Then you want to open up, maybe you want to put Gary inside Squidward's house, and you can slot him in from top. You want to put him in there because it gets him out of the way. Inside SpongeBob's house, I'll put his glasses here, and then I'll put SpongeBob on the bed, maybe. I'm not sure, and that's not going to work because the television is going to collide. So let's put him right up here. I think as long as you fold the couch down, that should close. Yep. And then where are we going to put Sandy? Well, first of all, down here, we have to remove the jellyfish and the conch and the chest, because this has to fold down. This is why it's hinged. It has to fold down to make room, because otherwise this collides with it and it won't close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Sandy right here. And I think now I can close the set. And this is absolutely wonderful. I love it. Let us talk about size. How big is this exactly? Well, I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a lot bigger than I was thinking. When I saw the leaked photos of the set, I thought this was going to be on the kind of size order of Wicked. But look at that. Way bigger than Wicked. It is almost the size of Monster High. It is, I think, a little larger than Elf. Different shape, but I think it is actually larger than Elf. I mean, it's certainly twice the size almost of Minions. So you get quite a large set, and look how thick it is. It's really big. And I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. So for a longtime fan of SpongeBob, this was completely unexpected. When I saw this from Polly Pocket, from Mattel, I kind of doubted that. I kind of thought it was a hoax. I never thought for a moment they would do SpongeBob Squarepants, but I was very wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong in this case. I think that now, after Addams Family and Wicked, This is my third favorite set. I can't say it's my favorite because Addams Family is still the pinnacle. And Wicked blew my mind and exceeded all my expectations. So does this. And I think that you'll love it. If you can find the 2003 Viacom PVC Sandy character on eBay maybe or some other place, get it, because it augments this set and almost completes it. If you could find a Squidward of the same scale, you would then probably complete the set. And that's all I got to say about this. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, there's your SpongeBob Squarepants logo. There's your Polly Pocket logo. It is 2025 Mattel. I'm overjoyed. Today has been a great day, and I've been having a lot of those lately as I've been opening these. So, guys, thanks for coming along and watching. So, for Sean Huckster, this has been Magical Little Worlds, and trust me, this is one. Good night.